This watch is a faithful recreation of a historical piece that was aboard the bathyscaphe Trieste, which made the incredible record-breaking dive to the deepest part of the ocean, the Mariana Trench. Now yes, the watch wasn't actually outside, it was inside the Trieste, but just being a part of something this special is amazing. So what is this thing? Introducing the all-new Aquastar Model 60 1957 re-edition. It's a near one-to-one copy of an iconic skin diver. Back then, many companies were using this style of case from a single supplier and just branding it with their own dials and movements. It's a simple yet elegant beauty that has a gorgeous arc to it that leads to those blunt, flat lugs. And the case is completely brushed, giving you that tool watch aesthetic. Now, who is Aquastar? If you don't know, they're a brand that started in 1962 by a man named Frederick Roberts, who took over his father's brand Jean Richard Watches and rebranded it. And like most Swiss watches, the Quartz Revolution, December 1969, Seiko releases the Astron, it spells trouble. The company was sold a couple times and it never really picked up steam. I believe they made a couple quartz watches in the 80s, a fashion watch, and in 2020 the Synchron Group bought everything and did a proper reboot. So it's a Phoenix brand, but we love Phoenix brands because we get to experience remakes like this, which are amazing. And one of the cool features is the bezel. The bezel is stainless steel and has a brushed sunray pattern with gorgeous engraved Arabics filled with inky black paint. But how does it feel and how does it sound? Okay, this feels nice. I was expecting a more abrupt click, but because of the ceramic bearings, it's pretty smooth. The little bit more abrupt going to the right because it is a 120 click bi-directional bezel. True to the original was friction fit, but it was bi-directional. So that's a nice Easter egg. And you may not want to dive with this because it's bi-directional, and that could be dangerous. So a big highlight for me is that glossy piano black hole of a dial. It just absorbs the light and it really has a strong contrast against that simple brushed case and bezel. So it really stands out. And for the dial layout, it's the conventional Submariner markers, but on the Model 60, they are printed. And we got a paddle shaped hour hand and a thick pencil style minute hand. The finishing is excellent for such a dark dial. I should have been able to see a ton of dust and I did not. So impressive finishing on the dial. However, the hands are just average. Now let's do those dimensions. I got 37 millimeters in diameter, secret measurement 28.5 millimeters. And we have a thickness of 12.6 with a subtle domed sapphire crystal with 3 layers of anti-reflective coating. We got no drilled lugs for that clean look and a lug to lug of 47.1. That's a pretty long reach for a 37. I would expect it to be more in the range of 45 to 46. So it wears a little bit larger than its size indicates, despite the small secret measurement. But you guys be the judge on the faraway wrist shots on my 6.5 inch wrist. Now, the bracelet. This one is a beads of rice and it's 19 millimeters tapering down to 17.5. It's got 4 micro adjust. It doesn't feel very refined, although it's solid links fixed by screws. The clasp is definitely dated and I would have loved to see a female end link here. I don't recommend getting it on the bracelet. The Synchron Group also sells Tropic Strap, the real brand, the official Tropic. I would pick one of those up or the NATO strap version with the iconic compass. Now I do have a negative, the crown. The crown is a gorgeous embossed signed Aquastar logo, 6.2 millimeters, and it's a screw down crown which gives the Model 60 200 meters of water resistance. But it has a clutch system which is finicky. And you guys know I'm picky with my crowns. They gotta work 100% of the time. So when you unscrew this crown, the clutch system in the head of the crown doesn't pop. The crown is fully unscrewed. You can pull it out and set the time, but it's still not popped. So you can't go into the winding position. Sometimes I took a minute or two of nonstop jiggling it, screwing it back down and out to get it to pop. I've spoken to at least 4 different owners and 1 Deep Star owner, and they all have the same issue. Maybe not as bad as mine, which I've never had a worse crown, but I don't know, maybe I don't know how to use it. Other than that, it screws down perfectly every time. It's very smooth and it's nice and grippy. So for the loom, it's not the greatest. It is a printed dial with creamy faux patina. So with those 2 factors, you're fighting an uphill battle, but the hands are much brighter than the rest of the watch. So for the loom, we're going to say a little bit below average loom. The movement is a La Joux Perret. It's basically a Miyota 9015 that's Swiss made. All the holes in the main plates are the same, the jewels, the positioning of the screws the same, but this one has an upgraded power reserve to 68 hours instead of 42. And it still has that trademark Miyota 9015 rotor wobble because it's a unidirectional rotor. But while the Miyota is rated at a -10 plus 30, this one in the top grade is highly regulated -7 plus 7, so they tightened it up considerably. They also made it a little bit thicker so it can be used as a drop-in replacement for the ETA 2824. Some companies who can no longer get their hands on the ETA and don't want to use the Solita, now they have a Swiss alternative they can turn to. So smart move by Citizen, and this movement is excellent. I am extremely happy that Aquastar is back in business and bringing us icons from the past. And this watch is fantastic. It does give me a standard impression of quality, which is not a bad thing. The standard is so high now, it's a standard impression. But this one on the beads of rice, as of today, is $1,149 USD, and that's a great price. But it gets even better on the NATO, $990, or you can get it on the Tropic for $1,090 USD. If you're looking for a Swiss-made skin diver icon from the past, with the brand history, this one is tough to beat. But I want to hear your opinions down below in the comment section. And if you liked this video, then you will love the 2 videos on the right of your screen right now. And I'll see you in the next one.